Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a very interesting story that I don't believe is about to go away, and it actually started several days ago. I've been waiting to cover it, and now there's actually additional videos to discuss. An influencer named Bunny hopped over to Nick's page. You like what I did there? She's actually trying to cancel Nick, and by cancel, I mean try to reach out to the brands that are sponsoring him to advocate for change. We're going to get into all of it. On the surface, audiences might think, oh, Dave, you're about to hop on, to use the bunny metaphor here, and pile on Nick here. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Believe it or not, I do pride myself in my critical thinking skills. I'm going to listen to what she had to say. I'm going to show you what he actually said, and I'm going to see if we're all on the same page here. Because it is very interesting. This story involves child exploitation, that of the influencer variety, making money off your kid and whatnot. And Bunny's actually going to provide receipts that she actually has her son on the payroll, which isn't a bad thing, because there are laws where you can provide your kid with an income that's sort of, I think, a tax write-off in one way or another. Nick is smart with his financial planning. I'm sure he does this both with his kid and his wife, although maybe not. We'll have to see. Either way, let's jump right into it. And by the way, I just have to say here, if you like this Saturday content, I have a long-form interview out today on the podcast right there. I interviewed my comedian friend, Evan Burke. He was a TMZ video journalist, and we talked all about the ins and outs of that job, which borders along the sort of lines of what is ethical and not, which, hey, that's what a lot of these conversations are about, ethics. And in a new world that we're in of making money online, there's always going to be ethical questions. I'm going to try my best to play for you the full clip of what she said. Then I'm going to share with you what he said. And then I'm going to go back and share her new update. Have a listen.
Nick Viall is a vile human being, and I have been silent on this for a very long time, but I'm going to be showing all of the receipts and all of the terrible things that he said about me that he's the one that actually does. 9 months ago in December, I had a comment left on my Instagram of Matt Rife telling people that I do OF for work, which is completely false.
I'm going to get into what actually happened there with that comment, because believe it or not, there are a few things left out here, but let's just listen to everything she has to say. I don't think anything she's saying here is in bad faith. In fact, I'm not telling you what side I'm taking here, because I have to listen to all of the material, which sadly, a lot of people don't do.
I personally don't share a lot about my son. I am not here to mom shame. I think some people show a lot about their kids, some people barely show them, and some people don't show them at all. And I am in the barely show them phase. I've actually just felt a little comfortable showing my son a little bit again, and most of the time it's only for educational purposes. My son is a homeschool genius, and I've always really enjoyed sharing how smart and intelligent he is and how we learn and how we do things, because I think it can encourage a lot of other moms to also homeschool and take schooling into their own hands. I'm actually not going to talk about the Matt Rife thing, because I literally still get comments about it to this day of old men harassing me and asking me for where my special link is because of all of this, and also has to do with what Nick Viall did, and that's a separate conversation. Since I barely show my son on my account, and also it's mostly just space facts, education facts, I just posted a video of him speaking gibberish, it's really in the educational realm. I was really appalled by what Nick decided to say about me, share my name, share my image on his podcast. And now I'm going to add the clips here. They're only going to be pictures, because what he said about me was so terrible that the sound was removed.
Now, as far as the sound being removed on Instagram and TikTok, I've had sound removed for really weird reasons. Sometimes the algorithm's tripped. He did swear, so maybe that's why. But don't worry, we have sourced the YouTube version. So after we listen to her, we'll go to the YouTube version of what Nick said.
So this woman says, my son made a joke about Jupiter and space.
True.
Then they tagged me in this video, added my name with my photo, agrees that my son is obsessed with space, and that's the reason that we posted this video. And Nick says, what this mom is doing is exploiting her son is disgusting. It's gross that she's exploiting her son for clout, and I think she deserves a lot of criticism for exposing her son.
Now, Nick addresses why he says this, Bunny does leave out the premise as to why Nick's responding this way. Again, that doesn't mean that he's off the hook here, but we have to get all the information.
Well, let's talk about you, Nick.
Let's do it.
I never made money off that video. My son makes money off of my account. I send him payroll. He has his own savings account that I cannot touch. He has his own Fidelity account. He has his own VOO. He has his own Roth IRA, all of which have thousands and thousands of dollars in them for when he's older that I am not allowed to touch.
And by the way, like I said before, that seems like a smart way to do it. I'm not a CPA. How to hire your child as an employee and save on taxes. Now, how would I do that? If I wanted to save $12,000 a year, it's just, that's, hey, that would save me, I don't know, what's 35% of $12,000, right? Whatever that is. If I wanted to save that, I could pay my son that money, but I'd have to prove he did something. He's adorable. Maybe that's all, whatever. But in her case, it's probably pretty easy because, her son, and her collaborate on content. It is a good thing that this exists. Some states are taking it into their hands to make laws. Parenting influencers speak out as new law designed to protect kids featured on social media goes into effect. I'm all about it. This specific law requires children age 16 and under be compensated if within a 30-day period there are at least 30% of a video or online content for which the adult, whether a parent or caregiver, is being paid. You might look at me and say, Dave, but you put your son in content that you do. I'm happy. I'm actually meeting with a financial advisor to figure this out. I'm happy to pay my son. I'm actually sort of, I'm not necessarily against it, but I'm against there's a lot of ways that you can put money into your kids that's tax-free. And I do think people exploit that because then you build generational wealth and it's like, just tax me. You know what I mean? The money's going to the family anyway. But either way, I understand the merit here. I don't think I'll ever be accused of being one that's profiting off of my kids, as my general income has nothing to do with my son. But I'll be happy to pay him if it saves me a couple dollars in taxes, knowing I'm already paying effectively double what a lot of corporations pay. Of course, you'd hate to take advantage of all these tax credits and pay zero in taxes, but having paid taxes, at my tax bracket, like I said before, the billionaires, those are the ones that are getting away with it. They're putting money in shell accounts. If you save a couple $1,000s here or there by paying your son, and then your son can actually build some income and have some investments based on actually being a part of the content, I'm all in support of that.
See, at the time, you didn't have a child. And now you do. And what's the first thing you do after you have a child? Oh, that's right. Exploitation. Let's look up the definition of exploitation.
So is it exploitation to, advertise for diapers when you do have a child? Maybe Nick is paying the child. It's almost like, it's not exactly a false equivalency, but I do understand what she's going for with the hypocrisy here, that Nick shamed her for doing something for clout, and now he's making money with his child. But that would be to assume that he's shaming her because she made money off her child, and he never really said she was making money off her child. So is clout different than actually monetizing your child? I mean, these are honest questions to ask.
The act of making use and benefiting from resources. So you make a Huggies ad right after your child's born. You probably had this in the works before you even had a child. Along with continuing to have guests on your podcast that actually have their entire content revolved around their children. But yet, I post one video and I'm the one exploiting him. Now, this is my son's saving account, which has thousands.
All right, so then she goes into the receipts of it all, which it's great. I believe her. She pays her son. That's great. Do I believe Bunny is exploiting her son? No, I don't. But let's go to what Nick actually said, because we've only seen sort of the tail end of that. And I do think this is interesting. I already feel off the bat that, and I don't blame her for any sinister reasons, but I do feel Instagram short form content, I do believe there was some things that were not mentioned. Nick's actually guilty of this too. A lot of times they'll discuss a topic and only have half the information. Luckily over here, we got all day, folks. We got all day. We'll get down to the bottom of it.
Verbatim, Amanda.
This is stressing me out.
Okay.
So why is
Jupiter also has a ring. Oh, ... And Santa isn't real.
So these are the comments that Matt Rife left to Bunny's kid. Now you might be wondering, what does any of this have to do with anything? Bunny's child, Bunny made a video with her child, kind of talking trash in a way to Matt Rife, the comedian, saying, hey, you got the wrong planets wrong. Hey, women are cool. Like, it was totally cute, fair, fine to do. But Matt Rife responding to the child, it's like Matt Rife was responding to the adult's account who had a child on it. So when he says, oh, Santa's not real, it's like, you when you play in the world, and again, this isn't in defense of Matt Rife because he deleted the comment. It was wrong. And who would ever do this, When you play in that adult world of talking smack back and forth on the internet, you're going to get burned. So Matt Rife's response to Bunny obviously came off looking terrible because it's with the son involved. With that said, and I know Nick's going to be very cautious with his defense of this. With that said, Bunny initiated the comment to Matt Rife. Do you know what I mean?
And then your mom buys your presents with the money she makes on OnlyFans. Good luck.
All right. So that's just, you know what I mean? That's just like, it's almost like Matt Rife dunked way too hard. The kid took a shot. Matt Rife could have knocked it down, but instead he smacked him down. And it's like, okay, that was all wrong. She says she doesn't make money on OnlyFans. I don't know the truth. I'm assuming she's right here. I'm assuming she's not lying. And it's just a mean comment that Matt Rife left. He deleted it.
Disgusting.
Well,
why are you saying OnlyFans to a 6-year-old?
Yeah, I don't think that we need to say that. Saying that Santa's not real is kind of rough. That's really obviously
rough.
The mom could not show him, right?
So I have a take.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
All right, so here's Nick's take we did not get the full extent of in Bunny's initial video.
What you think?
Okay.
I just want to preface this by being like, what Matt Rife did was gross and raw. Whatever the fuck his name is. That was gross. His comment, disgusting. He is 100% wrong for his comment.
I agree with Nick here. That Matt should have just not responded when there's a kid involved. But it's like one of those situations. It's like if you go to the bar and there's a kid at the bar, it's like, you shouldn't be here. The kid shouldn't have been snarky to Nick, but I'm not victim blaming the kid here. Does this make sense? I'm trying to make it very clear because I don't want to be in one of Bunny's videos saying that I'm also slamming this kid because it almost has nothing to do with the kid.
Yeah.
And not but I think what the mom is doing, exploiting her son, is disgusting.
I wouldn't have used the term exploiting the son. I would have just said, well, she brought the son into a little bit of a dogfight here. I wouldn't say exploiting the son. These are heavy words to accuse a mom of. And of course, we all know moms are going to be very protective of their kids and go, really? You think I'm exploiting the son? And again, Nick's wife here is, I think, pregnant, right? They're about to have a baby. So Bunny, is just anxiously awaiting for Nick to become a hypocrite.
I have a second take on that.
He's fucking 6 years old. So he doesn't know who Matt Rife is.
Rife.
He doesn't, I'm assuming he didn't watch his comedy special. And so clearly the mom used her son as a prop to be like, here, this would be cute. Say this in the comment about, and you hate girls or you're mean to girls or whatever. And she
Are you saying that she provoked the situation by putting him in?
Well, she literally exploited her son by saying, hey, I'm going to use my 6-year-old to pick a fight with a comedian.
Listen, I agree with Nick. What? Oh my gosh. Quick, take my computer away from me. Am I sick? Am I okay? Did I overdose? Look, I agree with him. I think that Matt Rife's response was volatile. And I think anyone would have said, dude, leave it alone. Let the kid have it slam. But I do think that that's what happened.
Yeah, probably not the best.
What did you think was going to happen? And again, that does not in any way excuse what Matt did. But I just think it's shameless to use your 6-year-old in some sort of internet drama. Clearly, she fed him the line.
Now, I don't agree with Nick on the word choice, exploiting, shameless, and clout. I don't agree with that. He kind of has a heightened opinion that I have. I have the opinion of she made the video with her kid. It wasn't like Matt Rife found the kid and he started commenting. They went after him. They went after him in his domain, which is stand up and talk about his special and this and that. So, but I wouldn't have said Bunny exploited the situation. I wouldn't have said it was for clout. I would have said it was kind of just all in fun. That's what I would have said.
You put him out there, and if you don't want your son to see Matt's comment, just make sure he's not on the internet. He's 6 years old. I'm assuming she lets him go on when she wants him to go on and not. Like, she saw the comment. The 6-year-old did it. And I hope that she didn't say, do you know what Matt Rife said about you to the 6-year-old? I'm assuming that didn't
He's called him Matt Rife. Matt Rife. His name's Matt Rife.
happen. No. I just think it's kind of gross that she is
all
using...
the adults are to blame.
Yes. It's gross that she is exploiting her son for clout.
Are you guys going to have...
Now this goes... Now, the hypocrisy that comes out is Nick almost creating an enemy here because he's not treating the situation like thinking of what Bunny's best intentions were, right? You could say, well, you know, I always say this all the time when it comes to having grace. It isn't easy when you have sharp takes on things, but, you know, everyone's trying the best with the information they have. Did Bunny's video really try to create all this hate? No, Matt Rife is, he's one of the biggest comics in the world. So his audience is going to pile on here. And, you know, what might work as a response to a heckler in a stand-up club, which is 18 plus, 21 plus, isn't always going to work online. But I agree with Nick here that the kid shouldn't be online at 6. He shouldn't be reading these comments. So all this talk about, oh, Santa's not real, that shouldn't reach a 6-year-old anyway. He's not saying it to his face. He's responding to someone who came after him. And it's one of those things like it's almost like in real life. If someone punches you and then you punch them back harder, the person who initially threw the punch is the one who's liable for what happens next, right? So again, and I'm being very careful here, I'm not blaming Bunny. I think Nick's choice of words created an enemy out of Bunny, where if I initially saw this, I might have said, well, I don't know if she's doing it for clout, but she's incorporating her kid into her content. Her kid loves space, and the kid had a nice response. So again, I just wouldn't have heightened it as much as Nick did.
Limits with your, babe.
Of course we are. And I don't know what those rules are that we're going to have. We've talked about it. And like, you know, showing our daughter's baby pictures when she's like 3 months old, probably not a big deal showing her face.
All right, so there they are. And some people like Becker, Kufrin, and Thomas don't want to show their baby. Everyone's got a different thought about it. I personally don't really monetize my child. I don't make any money on my vlogs. Those are just like family memento things. It doesn't mean I wouldn't pay my baby. I just like ethically speaking, I'm not doing anything that I believe is putting my baby in harm or that he'll regret in the future, things like that. Someone might disagree. Some people have a hard line. No, you keep that kid, you put a veil over them, and you put a nice visor like they're starring on Dancing with the Stars. Don't let anyone see who it is. I'm not famous. You know what I mean? I'm not to that extent. All right, so that's what Bunny had to say. Now, a lot of people are agreeing with her. Oh, he's the worst. Listen, you cannot like Nick for other things, but this take I don't disagree with. To the extent at which he went hard on Bunny, that's probably where he went over the line. Is it worth canceling him for doing ads? I don't know. Here was her latest video.
The video I made about Nick Viall and his disgusting comments about me, we cannot let this conversation end here. I really need your guys' help. I really need you guys to boost this video, share this video, and please tag any diaper brand. Huggies paid Nick Viall to exploit his child a lot of money to post about their diapers. I don't believe Nick advertising diapers is child exploitation. We don't know if Nick's paid, the kid's obviously going to benefit from that money in one way or another, right? Trickle down. But with that said, her title here is please tag all diaper brands. Let's make Nick's terrible, untrue words about me into something good. Look, she can't sue him for defamation. I mean, she could sue. She wouldn't win. He was sharing his opinion. His opinion was that she was doing this for clout. I disagree with his opinion. I don't have as cynical of a mindset as he does, but I also think we're being a little disingenuous with what actually went down. I am willing to do free ads for Huggies or any diaper brand that wants to donate to a charity that I have been working with for over 8 years. It's called Baby Cycle, and it helps women in Florida that cannot afford diapers. 1 in 2 families cannot afford diapers, or they have to choose between diapering their children or feeding their children. I have a full 6-minute video on my Instagram about the charity, everything about it. We recently raised $83,000 for women in need, and also Baby Cycle is the reason that there is no more diaper tax on diapers, and that may not mean anything to you. It may not mean anything to Nick Viall, but for people who are struggling, that amount of money means so much to them. I'm sure I charge way more for a brand deal than Nick does, but I will do a free brand deal for any diaper brand that wants to help me in this. So Huggies, please, I will do free ads for you. Please send diapers to Baby Cycle campers any other brand that wants to send diapers, please, let's make something good out of a really bad situation. And rather than paying men who talk badly about women, let's support women who actually need our help. The video I made...
I don't know. When there's an issue that it's a man versus a woman, I often get accused of siding with the man. But when there's an issue with Nick Viall versus anyone, I often get accused of bashing Nick Viall. What's it going to be, folks? I think we watched it all. I think we gave it a lot of attention. I think Nick offered his take. I think it really pissed her off because he made some assumptions about her, which were, cynical at best, disingenuous at worst, but I don't think that him doing ads for Huggies is not okay. So that's where I stand. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll share any updates. And by the way, I don't think Bunny's a bad person. I don't think Bunny's a bad person at all. If I was interviewing her right now, and she's always welcome to come on the show, I would just say, hey, you didn't really share the full story, it felt like. And then that would just be me in my sort of judicial sort of mind going, I kind of feel like, a little bit of conflation happened here. But hey, that's what Saturdays are for. Let me know what you guys think. Again, you can scan that right there if you enjoy what I do. My latest couple episodes have been off the rails here. So much entertainment news that we don't get into on the YouTube channel. I have them all on the podcast twice a day, every day, in a long interview on the weekends. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good Saturday, everybody.